afternoon, everyone. I'm GoLocal Live correspondent Chelsea Gay here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center on this beautiful 80-degree Wednesday. We're here to talk about all things cool in Rhode Island and some awesome events we have coming up this week and for the rest of October. So our first guest is Eric Auger from 1031, and for the first time ever, a gargoyle here in the studio, a real live gargoyle. So we're going to talk to them both a little bit about 1031 and what's coming up in October for the company. So we're really excited to have you guys on the show. Thanks for joining us.
We are happy to be here.
So Eric, tell us a little bit about 1031 and what it is. I'm sure our viewers have seen the likes of this gargoyle here walking around Waterfire in Providence.
Of course, the world famous Waterfire gargoyle.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I'm sure they've been creeped out by a gargoyle once or twice.
Yes, we have been in existence for 18 years. 1031 stands for Halloween, the date, October 31st, of course.
There we go.
And we have the luxury and the privilege of making pretend and pretending it's Halloween every single day, traveling not only around the country, but around the world, performing as different kinds of characters, entertaining people at parties and celebrations.
And so I've heard you guys explained as living art, and
Yes.
and that makes perfect sense for what it is you do, but give us some other examples of the characters that you create and where they may be seen around the country, not just Rhode Island.
Yeah, sure, of course. We basically have 3 different categories of characters. We have our human statues, which the gargoyle is part of. We also have human nature, which is a whole series of people based, their costumes are based on nature and plants, such as trees and flowers and things like that. And then we have our live action category, which basically takes everything else, including the kitchen sink, and throws it in all together. We have everything from literary and movie classics from like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, to fantastical original creations.
Awesome.
And that's basically what our collection consists of.
Okay, and so you guys have sort of grown up in the Providence and Pawtucket scene and more recently started Revel Factory, which is your nonprofit organization.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about how that came to be and what that is and how it relates to 1031.
Sure thing. Over the years, a lot of people have come up to us, a lot of like schools and other nonprofit organizations, and they're like, could you help us out with workshops and teach classes and inspire the kids in the classes and stuff like that. And for many years, we definitely wanted to do that because we love inspiring the youth of today into becoming artists and performers. And we found that sometimes it was a little bit difficult with our business model because we are a legitimate business and we are very busy, and taking the time to do that sometimes was hard, and we wanted to compensate the people that did it, and it was just a little bit difficult. So by forming our nonprofit, we now have a few fundraisers throughout the year, and with the funding that we get from that, we now are able to offer free nonprofit educational programs and different workshops to different schools and to the community at little cost or sometimes even no cost.
Great. So speaking of events that you guys put on for fundraising, you have a really cool one coming up in October called Underland.
Yes, yes.
Which sounds delightfully creepy.
Yes, it's amazing. Underland is basically a twisted take on the classic Alice in Wonderland. It will be performed at our event space, which is 249 Roosevelt Avenue in Pawtucket. It is co-sponsored by 1031 and our nonprofit, Revel Factory, and tickets can be available at eventbrite.com. And what makes Underland particularly different for the Halloween season is that a lot of the times you can go everywhere and go into a haunted house. You get in line, the doors open, you walk through the maze, and then you walk out the other end.
Yep.
Well, this is something completely different. We've created an original story, original soundtrack, and taken our classic and probably well-known Alice in Wonderland costumes and tweaked them up a little bit so they're a little bit creepy in this presentation. And guests are allowed to meander and wander around at their own pace. This is not a linear type of experience. It is a true-on theatrical immersive experience.
Okay, so it's immersive in that you're able to, you're interacting, you're talking, you're, you know, I don't know about touching, but you're
No touching.
no touching.
Yeah.
And so is it small groups are going in and interacting at once, or how does it work in terms of the flow of the event?
So how that works is we are having shows every half hour, and we allow 50 people to go in at a time. And it's basically Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays from October 18th through the 27th. And again, the best thing is that if you're the type of person that is too afraid to go to a haunted house or something like that, this is perfect for you because it can be as voyeuristic or as engaging as you would like it to be.
Okay. And so for the design and the creation of this experience, are you working with schools as part of Rebel Factory to create these sets?
You're very intuitive in that question. Yes, that's absolutely right.
Great.
So for this particular version of our haunted experience this year, we worked with the Jacqueline Walsh School of the Performing Arts, and we went in throughout the year and taught a class on event production and design. Okay. And we really kind of let the students' minds run free and help us to create it was really the genesis of the whole idea, the theme, then the story, the characters, the locations and the set design that we're creating. And then also they came in before they graduated last May and worked in our shop and actually helped us to make some props like bleeding hearts and severed heads and all the little good things.
Oh, giving us a little preview.
Yes, of course.
So, speaking of this charitable arm and involving the schools, what are you hoping that Rebel Factory, the impact, I know you guys have really only been around now for a couple of years, I think?
Yes, Rebel Factory, yes.
So, for Rebel Factory, yes. Not 1031, you guys have been here forever.
Forever!
So what are you hoping the impact is on the community of Pawtucket and, overall Rhode Island?
Yeah.
What are you hoping people get from?
I mean, throughout 1031's entire existence, we've just been very open, to the universe as far as what has been offered to us. And it just so happened with the location that we're at now, we have an event space. So now we have the space, and as our popularity grows, it's also bringing in an influx of different kinds of individuals that are also teachers and dancers, choreographers, artists, those sorts of things. So it's just been great that we can offer our space as a hub for the performing and the creative arts. And we really don't have any goal per se. It's just that we're opening the doors and people are starting to come in. So that's really what we can wish for and hope for.
And so besides events like Underland, what on a weekly, monthly basis is happening at the Rebel Factory? Are artists in there, working on different pieces, just their own pieces, or is it you guys are holding workshops? What's happening over there?
All of that.
Everything.
1031 has Metamorphosis Dance Company, which obviously rehearses there weekly. We also have the good fortune of having Burbage Theater Company do their entire season in our space.
Oh, great. Okay.
So their season runs from September until May with 4 to 5 shows throughout their whole season. And then when we have openings available, it's interesting. Things have been happening. We've had some tap dance groups. We've had a lot of dance groups. Some other artists have shown their works there and stuff like that. So things just get peppered in when it's available.
Okay, so now going back to 1031, take us back 18 years.
Let's get into the time machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what prompted Living Art? Where did this idea come from that you have to have a human topiary and a gargoyle statue that jumps out at?
Who thinks of this stuff anyway? It's crazy. 18 years ago, my business partner and I, Joe Perry, we had 9-to-5 jobs and we wanted a creative outlet. So we were inspired by Waterfire and the atmosphere and the ambiance, and living statues have been around for many, 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 many years.
Of course.
So we really kind of latched onto that idea. It kind of just came to us, and the gargoyles, it was really very spontaneous. It was something that we just kind of thought, let's try it out. And basically, that's really how it happens.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky. Barnaby Evans spotted us. He loved what we were doing. He supported us 100%. And he was really the catalyst in trying to find the best spot for us to perform down in downtown Providence, which we are now at Memorial Park for every Waterfire. And the rest is history. Just as the years went by, we created more characters, more people saw us, more people wanted us to come to their events. People at those events saw us, they wanted to go, and so on and so on and so on, and here we are.
Great. And so, you said living art and living statues is something that's not new. I mean, you guys didn't create them, but how do you guys differentiate yourselves with your living art that, you guys are national, you guys get to go out to all different cool places, we'll talk about that a little bit, but what makes you different?
I think what sets us apart is our professionalism and our attention to detail. Those are probably the two things. And then thirdly, if I can add a third thing, is really
you can add as many things.
is the spirit that all of our performers embody. We could very easily just put on a costume, go out, do the gig, get paid, walk away. But we're very, very selective. There's a little bit of an arduous audition process that you have to audition to apply to become a performer with us. And then it's a very long time in training, several gigs of training, and then we put you on a small show at first, and then as you mature with us, you get more and more responsibility. It's not a mandatory thing, but we do ask that everyone wears multiple hats. So as you're growing with the company as a performer, the doors are open for you to become a producer and things like that. So it's a combination of all those things. And Joe and I really identified at the very beginning that we are basically a carnival act. We are part of the circus.
Yeah.
It's very unusual that what we do. So we really started out at the very beginning to be the best at what we did, and we've been very blessed and very fortunate because it has set us very far apart from our competitors and our competition.
So what do you think has been maybe the most unique undertaking of a character? I know you probably can't answer this. I don't know. Give me like a top.
The most memorables?
Yeah. Give me a couple different things.
I can definitely answer that question very easily. So we had the luxury of performing in Beijing in China,
wow.
Which was great. Actually, Shanghai in China, but we extended our visit out there and toured China a little bit, and that was profoundly impactful and amazing for both of us because we went to a country that we did not know the language, and through our performance we spoke a universal language with our audience, which was pivotal, in our maturity and our just gratitude, about what we do. We performed for the Obama administration.
Wow.
At the United Nations conference in New York. Again, I was performing, and I was basically the step and repeat for every member of the United Nations. So after I had my photograph taken literally with every member of the United Nations, I was left with, do we have to impress anyone anymore? And it was very humbling.
What character were you for that experience?
I was a Telamon.
Just yourself?
Yes, I was just myself. No, I was a Telamon, which is a Greek pillar.
Oh, awesome.
With a capital of the headpiece. But when you reach that point as an artist and as a businessman, it's very humbling, but it's also very liberating because you're like, wow, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we're doing it well, and we're doing it right. Mm-hmm. And just traveling around every time we travel, but then also still consistently, I performed at Waterfire a few weeks ago, and the magic is still there, and the emotion is still there, and the gratitude is still there. So it's like, it's very important that we still do perform at Waterfire because that's where we started, and we make it somewhat mandatory that all new people at least get that experience a few times so they can really understand why we started our company. Yeah,
that's amazing. And for those who may want to involve a character in some way in their upcoming events or lives, just to hire a character to hang out with them, what's the easiest way to go about that? Do you list them all on your website, the ones that you offer, and then are you able to create characters if someone wanted to?
If you can dream of it and think of it and want it, we can make it.
There you go. Hey, there it is.
We've never been stumped in 18 years. We've never.
Really?
Yeah, we've always. I mean, most of the time, Joe and I talk about it. If something is presented to us and we're like, okay, we'll do it. And we always figure out how to do it.
And you have a lot of partnerships now with lots of organizations around Rhode Island because you're at almost every big event that I know of, in some way there.
Yeah, totally, yeah. We have been very fortunate again, to be embraced by the local community, and we're very happily known as the Waterfire Gargoyles.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad thing to be known as. But now there are statues at the Waterfire too. They hand out scrolls.
Yes.
Not just gargoyles anymore.
Yes, of course. We have a whole collection. Ironically, the history behind the scrolls from the living statues that we perform alongside of the gargoyles at Waterfire is that it was our way of speaking to our audience in a verbal way without actually using our voice. So, and again, all the things that you receive, whether it's a fortune or an oracle, and the riddles aren't necessarily uplifting, but it's really about putting out the positivity, the energy. We've gotten emails and phone calls and letters from people that they were saying that little piece of paper has influenced them and changed their lives, for the better. So again, it's like we are so thankful and so grateful and humbled by the fact that our performances can impact people's lives in that way.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so, speaking of performances, I want to take it back to Underland because that's the most exciting thing coming up in October. And
totally.
any viewers who have attended Mysterium, I'm sure there are plenty because it's a very well attended event
The
each
Eternal
summer.
Masquerade.
The Eternal Masquerade. The public library is going through construction this year.
It is, yes.
So no Mysterium, but there is an
No.
Underland Ball.
Yes.
So let's talk about the ball.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So the Underland Ball is October 27th. It is from 10:31 p.m. until 1 a.m.
Ah,
It is
see what
in
you did there.
Yes, it is in downtown Pawtucket. And again, what separates this party from any other party that's happening out there is that you are going to be able to celebrate inside of our event space, which is basically the theatrical set for our presentation of Underland. So
Okay.
you can take your selfie at the tea party, you can go into the Mad Hatter shop, you can go into the Queen's Royal Rose Garden, etc. I won't say anything else. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, it's going to be really, really fun, and it's a costume ball, so we encourage everyone to dress in their best Underland best. And you may say, what is your Underland best?
Not your underwear.
No,
Your
it's not
Underland
that sort of party. Well, maybe after midnight it'll become that party. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so what is your best Underland costume? It can be an Alice in Wonderland costume, but twist it up a little bit and make it a little creepy.
Yeah, like this.
Yes.
This is where the guy went.
Oh, yes. And of course, the most important thing is that Underland is part of Mill City Haunts, which is an amazing project that we've been working on for a few years with the city of Pawtucket. And we presented it to the mayor a few years ago, and he was very excited about it, and it took us a few years to get going. But basically what it is we are corralling some of the other local businesses, including Slater Mill and City Hall.
Excellent.
And we're going to be programming several nights of Halloween-style programming, most of which is free to the public. Underland and Slater Mills attractions do have a fee attached to them. But yeah, we're really excited. There's going to be a light show on City Hall. There's going to be programming at the amphitheater with live music and free movies, and fun for the whole family.
So Mill City Haunts is happening in tandem with Underland.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask one thing. Tickets for the ball, separate from tickets to the performances?
Well, funny you should ask. And yes, they are separate, but we have a limited amount of tickets, which include the last show of Underland, which is rolled over into the Underland Ball. So from 9:30 until 10, you see the Underland performance. Then you get a special little beverage or treat in the holding area while we reset the space for the party, and then you are the first VIPs into the party.
There we go. Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So let's hope our viewers check it out and
Please
at least attend Underland, if not the ball. Hopefully both,
Yes.
because I know if anybody's seen the Alice in Wonderland characters, they're pretty incredible. The Cheshire Cat is.
Maybe you'll see him.
Oh, maybe. Maybe just his smile.
Totally.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me to talk about this event on this 80-degree October day, which I know this poor gargoyle is going to melt.
He's a good boy.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
And Gargoyle, our first gargoyle in studio.
Thank you for having us.
For coming on the show. We hope you guys all check out 1031, Revel Factory, and the Underland event. We'll put all the links in the editorial so you guys can check that out. And everybody stay tuned. We've got an exciting guest coming up next. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Our second guest today is Bethany Mazza from Green Ink, and many of you may know Bethany from her Wickford location, which has become a staple in, I would say, in shopping in Rhode Island. But we are here to talk today about her new store opening in Providence, which is really exciting. So Bethany, even though I can't see you from this shirt,
Here we are,
thank you so much for coming on the show today. And yeah, we want to hear about what's going on in Providence. So how is that going? Are you guys officially open now?
We had our soft opening yesterday.
Okay.
We're at 199 Wayland Avenue, so on Wayland Square, right between Teas and Javas and Pasta Beach. And so it was soft opening, and then we have a grand opening party planned for Friday the 19th from 5 to 8, where everything will be all fleshed out and ready to go.
Oh, perfect. So you're not busy at all. You're just
no,
living
no.
living the dream right now.
Kicking back, yeah.
Good thing it's 80 degrees out. And,
if I were at the beach today, that would have been good.
So for those guests who may not be familiar with Green Ink, maybe don't really live in the South County area, haven't ventured down there, tell us a little bit about the store and, give us an overview.
An overview.
So
my mother, the best I can. It's a long story. I'll try to be brief. My mother started the store in 1972, and she made handmade leather handbags. And the store has evolved over the years into kind of a creative, quality clothing store, but then we have a lot of shoes and jewelry and accessories. And so what we really try and do is just have something for everybody, all different shapes and sizes, different styles, different price points. And we really have developed a customer base that's really loyal and loves to come and see us and see what's new.
Great. So what does Green Ink stand for?
Well, everybody thinks it's very natural, and it's, my mother named the store because staying out of the red means, you're making
you make
money.
The money, yeah,
Which
there you
typically
go.
would be black ink, but she's an artist, and green and red are opposites on the color wheel, so it was Green Ink.
Do you carry more green items, would you say, than any
not
other color?
necessarily. A lot of fair trade these days, but but not green.
Oh, I meant the color green,
you meant the color.
yeah.
I knew what you meant, yeah. But I had to tie that in.
Oh, yes, the ecological standpoint.
That's right.
Oh, my. So what prompted opening in Providence? I mean, Wayland Square is obviously beautiful, but...
It is. I lived there in the early 90s, and I actually really love the area because it's like a little village within the city, and it kind of has everything you need to live day to day, which I really enjoy. But the landlord, who the space was Comina prior to us, and it had been vacant for a little while, and he called me up. He saw an ad that we had in the Providence Journal for Eileen Fisher, which is one of our key brands, and he thought that would be something he'd like to have represented in Wayland Square, and so he asked if I wanted to come, look at a space, and I did, and that's how it started. That's right. Yeah.
And so for people that are familiar with Wickford, is this sort of modeled the same way, or you can carry different products, or what's happening in Providence?
It's fairly similar, but we are going to bring in a few different lines, and we're trying to be a little bit dressier maybe, because I feel like people in the city are maybe going to more events, and we'll probably get more people who have jobs that require a little bit of a,
rather than
more
beach
dressed
wear,
up. Yeah, because in Wickford it's pretty cash, and we do the summer business down there is amazing because it's so beautiful in the summer. Yeah. And so it'll have a little bit of a different flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys said you had a lot of loyal customers, but what do you think differentiates Green Ink from? I mean, there's a lot of really cool boutique stores out there, and what would you say makes you guys different, and what makes you successful in this area?
Well, I think we're really loyal to our customer, and I'm there all the time, and I talk to our customers, and I listen to them, and I'm responsive to what they ask me to have. And so I think also we've been in the business so long that we kind of know, that little emotional thing that you need as a buyer, because it's being in business is sort of an art and a science these days, and so you have to have that connection, and that really sets us apart, because I feel really connected to my ladies.
And so when you go into Green Ink, is the experience that you can find, I know it's clothing, shoes, accessories, you can really find a whole outfit for an event you have, and the sales associates in there are going to help you kind of put that together, or is it really you just go in and kind of poke around yourself?
You know what? It's funny because you get a little conflicted about that. We really like to let the customer lead us with that, and some people know what they want and they're just like, I'm going to get it and I'm going for it. But some people really want a lot of help, and so we try and respond to that. And if you want us to put together an outfit or a wardrobe or bring in like one piece that you're having trouble kind of putting together, we can work with that. So we really let the customers lead.
Great.
Yeah.
And how many products do you carry currently? Like how many different brands?
Oh my, 30 or 40.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a huge selection.
Okay, and would you say a lot of them are local, or are you bringing in design? I mean, Eileen Fisher obviously is a large designer, but
a lot of our designers are based in America and or made in America.
Okay.
But not that many local. We did just pick up one new designer that I'm really excited about called Neville Wisdom, and we're actually his first retail store. He's a designer from New Haven, and he sells his own things there in a couple of locations, and he's chosen us to be his first retail store. So I'm really excited about his things.
So what kind of products do we have? Anything from him?
But we have to get we're talking about local. We have to get our Ken Stetson in there. So because we also are carrying Ken Stetson in both of our stores, and we love him, and so we just that's one of our nice local things.
Yeah.
But then a lot of our things, like what you were kind of going for here, a lot of our things are fair trade. Like these are made in India out of recycled fabric, and they're all women's cooperatives that give back to the community and educate girls.
Yeah.
And some of these the fair trade, the piece that I have on is also from a fair trade company from Vietnam. So we really try and,
Yeah, so kind of walk me through some of the items here. Let me know, tell me a little bit about what they are, maybe the price point too, just to kind of give the viewers a better idea of the things they can get.
If I can remember the price points. I hope I
can. Approximate is fine.
There you go.
I won't call you out on that.
Well, this shoe is from Bernie Mev, which is one of our favorite shoe brands just because they're so lightweight and really flexible.
They're very flexible.
And they have a memory foam insert in the middle, and so we sell tons of them. I think this one sells for maybe $62, something like that a pair.
That's very exact.
And I have it, something like that. Yeah.
You're doing a good job with that.
I know. Well, yeah, I've been doing this a while. And then since we're on shoes, this boot is from Dansko, which is another one of our brands that we know that people love.
Yep.
I think this one is in the low 200 range. Their boots are a little bit
pricey,
more.
but they last.
But yeah, they do. The quality is amazing. We try and carry shoes in particular that are beautiful, but won't kill your feet. Like I kind of don't believe in suffering for fashion, and so that's sort of, we like to have beautiful things, but comfortable too.
There you go,
like
exactly.
Yeah. So, and this obviously, Eileen Fisher, we've talked about.
That's beautiful.
Velvet, which is so in this year, and this color, this kind of like evergreeny, sprucey green is really
beautiful.
Popular. Like, look at those earrings with that.
I know. What a
That's
nice
amazing.
little Christmas outfit. You can wear with leggings so you can stretch out when you eat,
Yep.
And you've got the Kent Stetson products, which is great. And you carry a large assortment of his line, I would assume. Lots of clutches.
Yes. Yep, we usually have almost his whole line every season, but then the specialty bags that he does we have the Providence bags in the Providence store. I know he has the P-Pack bag.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have that one.
Pell Bridge one, right? Yeah. So we like to have those because they remind us of home.
So as someone in the fashion space, I have to ask what you're kind of seeing for this winter. I mean, obviously the velvet is beautiful, but what kind of products are you stocking in anticipation for the winter fashions that we have coming up? I mean, what do you think is going to be big this season?
That's always an interesting question for us because we kind of believe in things that are timeless.
Yeah.
And so we like to have kind of wardrobe building pieces and then special pop things. So if you're looking for something for an event, we'll have something for that. But this year we're selling a lot of color.
Yeah.
Really intense, vibrant colors and a lot of pattern and print. So there's just a little more joy and a little more vibrancy, I feel like, this season than you would normally see in fall.
Yeah, more color. That's great. That is fun. Yeah. Well, we've got 80-degree weather in October, so we'll just keep the summer clothes going.
I know.
And so you guys are obviously pretty involved in the community in Wickford. Is that something that you plan to do as you move to Providence, or are you going to try, to be involved in the community here and, participate in community events as a small business? Is that the plan?
It is. I really hope so. The Wayland Square Merchants Association, I haven't dropped off my check yet, but we'll join that. And there are some events that they
Okay.
sponsor in the square. But then, we'll look to maybe hook up and do pop-ups with local artists
great.
and that sort of a thing. So yeah.
And that's something you do in Wickford. You have do you do trunk shows and sort
We
of
don't do that many
smaller
trunk
events?
shows. We're really trying to kind of bring that on board for Providence as kind of an opportunity
Yeah.
to get to the things that sometimes we miss. So for our grand opening party, Ken Stetson will be there doing a
great.
trunk show, and Neville Wisdom, the designer that I talked about earlier, he'll be there. And then the next day, M. Kindred, which is a local jewelry maker from
Okay.
North Kingstown, the ladies from M. Kindred will be there on Saturday doing a trunk show. So we're trying to, get a little more
Awesome.
oomph.
Oh, that's so great. Well, it's always great to have people on the show from Rhode Island small business because we really like to see that flourishing, obviously, because it's important to have small business here. And obviously, the Nordstrom and the Providence Place Mall just closed, as sad as that is.
I know,
but
it's sad. It's a good opportunity for us.
Yes.
And so we're looking for
Eileen Fisher, I mean, there's a
Exactly.
Nordstrom brand. You guys are
Absolutely.
carrying it.
Absolutely.
Go to Green Ink.
So, yes,
no more, no more
success is
Nordstrom.
hard work and luck. And so
There you go.
I've got the hard work down. That was just luck.
Perfect. Well, Bethany, thanks so much for joining us today. We hope everybody checks out Green Ink in Providence and obviously stays going to Wickford as well.
Absolutely. But, winter, summer, dressy cash.
So and obviously I think you'll probably attract a whole new customer base here because they're far enough apart that you'll be getting a lot of browsers in from Wayland. So
I think
we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks
and
for
the
having
opening
me.
party is Friday the 19th.
5 to
Okay.
8. Yep.
That's open to the public?
Open to the public.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. Come
Sounds
on. Come
good.
visit.
Go visit Green Ink. She's been working really hard to make this open. Well, Bethany, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks
We
for
appreciate it,
having
and thanks
me.
for all the
Really
beautiful
appreciate it.
products.
Yeah, absolutely welcome.
Yeah, awesome. So again, we hope you guys stay tuned. We've got our last guest coming up next. welcome back, guys, and thank you for your patience as we set up this great display. I'm really excited about my last guest today. We have Colleen Zietz and Katsu Kibuishi from the Rhode Island Festival of Children's Books and Authors. Well, Colleen's from the festival, and Kazu is actually a writer and illustrator that we have that's going to be attending the festival as well. So we're really excited to have you guys. Thank you for taking some time out of your very busy days to visit with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, no, we're so happy to. And the event is this weekend.
It is. It's on. There's Friday night. There's going to be a play by Bill Harley, who's going to come by tomorrow, and you get to have a sampling of how amazing he is. And then here. He wrote Dirty Joe the Pirate, which is a fantastic, really fun book. And most of the event happens on Saturday, the 13th.
Okay. And yes, as Colleen was saying, Bill Harley will actually be on GoLocal Live tomorrow at 4. We're not really sure what he's going to do. I don't know. He's going to surprise us with something. He's going to be performing, maybe doing some comedy.
He does many things.
Maybe just talking. Yeah,
music, everything.
He's like a Rhode Island legend. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
He's got 2 Grammys, I think. And
so true.
Just
so true.
Very, very well-rounded guy. So we're excited to have him on tomorrow, to say the least. So he'll be attending the festival, which is great. And he's attended before.
Yes,
as I'm sure. He's
and the play is his play that he wrote.
Okay.
It's going to be the premiere of it. So.
And the play is at Lincoln School as well. And the girls from Lincoln School are in the play.
It's actually from the GAM Theater.
Oh.
It's a collaboration.
Okay.
So they're going to be performing it at Lincoln School.
Perfect. All right. So tell us a little bit about the festival and how it got started. What year are we in now?
This is the 14th year that it's been run by the people who are running it right now. It also existed 10 years before that. So there's many people who've been to the festival over the years. And the important thing to let people know is that it's actually really fun. It's because the presentations are done by authors like Kazu here, who, people love Kazu's books. Like when they heard he was coming or they see his books at our display, they're just like start screaming or they're so excited. I mean, many authors have fans, but Kazu has super fans.
Super fans.
And all of the authors do presentations, and the authors are all just fantastic storytellers. So it's not like a dull lecture, but they talk about their process and their, what they drew like when they were young, things like that.
Yeah, I'll be painting live. I'll do a live painting demonstration as well. So.
I would love to see that.
Live painting. Oh, that's awesome. And so when you get there, admission is $5, right?
Correct.
So not going to break the bank.
Absolutely.
And you attend, and it's broken out by author, and they're doing readings, they're doing meet and greets, answering questions.
You can buy books, you can get them signed. There's face painting, there's crafts, there's food trucks, there's musical performances. So you can come and spend a good amount of time. There's activities meant for kids. A lot of teachers and librarians come, and they're excited to meet authors who they've been reading for years.
Oh, of course, and I'm sure checking out books to many children for years as well.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about, obviously the importance of getting kids excited about reading is pretty well known, but is that sort of the goal of this festival? What are the goals here? What are we hoping comes out of this?
Our goal is, to reach out to the community from Lincoln School, to get kids a chance to meet someone like Kazu. Like, here's this amazing person who, as a kid maybe liked to draw like they did or was interested in writing, and just to see what's possible. And so to feel like, one example is a colleague of mine brought her son to the festival, and he heard Kazu speak and got so excited, even though he wasn't excited about readings before. Paul said, please, could we buy his books? And his mom was like, yes. And, it helped him become a reader, it made a difference in his life.
Yeah, so, I'm sure because of all the different authors there, it's going to resonate. One of the books is going to resonate. And it's really all ages. There's children's books, that are for younger kids, and obviously something like Amulet, which Kazu is your book, that's maybe a little more young adults for reading.
It's all ages.
Oh, it's all ages. Okay.
Right from when you start reading, you can start pretty early. It is a middle grade book.
Okay.
So typically, my publisher will say that it's for readers between the ages of 8 and 12.
Okay.
But I write them for the grandparents as much as I do for the parents, as much as I do for the kids, and for people who don't read at all. So it's really to just give somebody, a whole family, something to share.
And so speaking of inspiring children to read, what inspired you as a child to get into graphic novels and writing and illustrating as a whole?
As a kid, I think it was Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
And as a college student, I read Hayao Miyazaki's Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind. He's a filmmaker who did a comic book on the side, and I read that particular book, and I thought I'd like to do that sometime in my life. Bone by Jeff Smith, which is also published by Scholastic. I read those, and I thought, I read Nausicaa and Bone, and I thought, oh man, I'd really like to give this a try. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So
and I have to ask, do you consider yourself more of an illustrator or more of a writer? If you had to pick.
Both.
Okay, 50-50 split down the middle. Fair enough. I just thought I would ask. And now you actually, interesting tidbit in your bio, you illustrated the 15th anniversary Harry Potter Scholastic books, which is pretty cool. And what was, what's the most memorable illustration from that you did, or?
The first one that I did, that Scholastic liked, was the one for Prisoner of Azkaban, and that was the easiest one for me to do. I knew which image I had to do. The one that I think I like the most personally is for Half-Blood Prince.
Okay.
And I don't think it's the most showy or impressive of the series, but it's the one that I don't know, it speaks to me. So that's probably my personal favorite.
Okay. Did you ever get to chat with J.K. Rowling at any point during the process?
No.
Actually, yeah. But she obviously saw them, I would assume, or had to approve them in some way. So she approves you silently. That's
yes.
good. That's fun. And so you guys brought me a bunch of books, and I'm sure these are all participants of the festival.
Yes.
So let's kind of walk through what we have here and who's attending.
Rosemary Wells, this one's Voyage to the Bunny Planet, and she's written a bunch of Max and Ruby books, so books for young kids that are extremely popular. Though she's also written some middle grade novels as well.
Okay.
Here we have The Three Pigs by David Wiesner. David Wiesner is one of the only 2 people who've won 2 Caldecott medals, so his books are just gorgeous, and he's a great presenter, really interesting. This is Kelly Murphy did the illustration for this book, and she's a RISD professor, so she's a local artist.
Awesome.
And
this
Dreamers.
Is beautiful too.
This is really beautiful. Some people think that's going to
up.
win the Caldecott, which is the big picture award this year. It's Eugene Morales, and it's about being an immigrant, which she was, and so it's really
beautiful book.
Beautiful artwork, and just really an important sentiment right now.
Yeah, of course.
And Kevin Henkes is like a really wonderful, fantastic, that we're just so excited he'll be here. So Lily's Purple Plastic Purse is one of his favorite books, and he is
my daughter's favorite author.
Yes.
Oh, they're not you. Dang it.
Second favorite. Come on.
I don't think I'm considered an author.
No, that's okay. Well, still, it must sting.
I'm their favorite dad. So I think.
There you go. That's the real award. And so this is, a family event. Bring the whole family. Make a day of it. There's food trucks I saw.
Yes.
And there are a couple different is there a class I think I saw about for 10-year-olds?
There's a cartooning workshop by Tim Jones, who's a local cartoonist whose cartoons appear in local papers, so he's going to be here. We're going to have a book drive. To support Books Are Wings. Some of the authors who are here are going to different schools, so we just really connect to other schools.
Yeah.
We give out free passes to some underserved schools, and some of our sponsors let us be able to buy books, which we give to underserved schools. So it's a real connection to the whole community.
Yeah, so I saw the admission price, like I said, is low, and that's really just to kind of cover yourselves for the day. But if you do, if there's still room for sponsorship, I don't know. But you were saying something really nice, which is that you do give books to those who may not be able to afford them, and tickets to those who may not be able to afford them. So I'm sure if there's anyone in that situation who really wants to attend,
we're so grateful
they can
to
reach
the
out to you
organizations that sponsor us, and we always would love to hear from more.
Yeah, because it's just so important to keep kids into books now that everybody's got iPads and phones and everything else. It's just, there's nothing like a good book. And it's so important to keep that going. So we thank you, and we thank the authors as well for taking time out of their very busy schedules to come here, and from Seattle. That's as far away as you can get in the U.S. at least, and come here and talk with kids. So it's really important, and we thank you guys for being on the show.
And thank you so much for letting us share information about this with your audience.
No, appreciate you guys being here so much. So we hope you guys check out the Rhode Island Festival of Children's Books and Authors. What's the acronym for that?
We don't have one. We want to make you say the whole
The
thing.
world's longest name. We hope you guys check it out on this coming Saturday, so a couple days away. Hopefully the weather stays this nice. Not that it matters, it's inside, but you know, just to get people out there. And so it's at the Lincoln School, you know, park in the Lincoln School parking lot. Anything else? Anybody
Or in the
needs-
neighborhood, yeah. And if you go to the website, you can see the schedule of events and details there.
Yeah, but go for the whole day. Read some
Absolutely.
books. Get your books signed. It's going to be awesome. So we thank you guys for tuning in to hear about the festival and to hear about all of our other guests we had today. And we hope everybody stays dry for Hurricane Michael. We're hoping we don't get washed away. We'll be clear by Saturday. So I think today and tomorrow we're potentially going to wash away. We don't really know. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be back next Thursday to talk more about what's cool in Rhode Island. Thanks a lot.